All right, so you're prepping for a process engineering technician interview,
Uh-huh.
and you really want to, like, knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
Well, you've come to the right place.
Absolutely.
We've got this a stack of RoleCatcher resources here,
Mm-hmm.
and we are going to extract the best advice to help get you ready.
That's right.
We're going to be diving deep into some common interview questions,
Yeah.
explore what the interviewers are truly looking for,
Mm.
and even sprinkle in some career insights to make you
Yes.
stand out.
We'll even touch on how RoleCatcher's AI can step in and give you a little extra edge by tailoring your answers and feedback to the specific job you're aiming for.
Oh, very cool.
Think of it like having a secret weapon.
Okay, so let's start with the basics.
Mm.
What exactly does a process engineering technician do? For someone who might be just starting to explore this career path.
Well, process engineering technicians are all about efficiency in the manufacturing world.
Okay.
You'd be working closely with engineers, diving into the nitty-gritty of how things are made, figuring out where things can be improved, and ultimately making the whole process smoother, cheaper, and more sustainable.
So they're like the efficiency detectives of the factory floor.
Exactly.
Always on the lookout for ways to make things better.
Exactly. And the great thing is, you're not just crunching numbers in a back office.
Right.
You're right there on the front lines, seeing how your work directly contributes to making products better, reducing costs, being environmentally friendly, and even ensuring worker safety.
Yeah. It sounds like a career that's both technically challenging and incredibly rewarding.
Absolutely.
But let's face it, getting that dream job starts with nailing the interview.
Mm-hmm.
So let's dive into some common questions you might encounter.
Sounds good. First up, a classic. What experience do you have in process engineering?
Okay, this one seems straightforward,
Yeah.
but I bet there's more to it than just listing off your past jobs.
You're right. It's all about showcasing both your academic and practical experience in a way that makes the interviewer think, this is someone who can hit the ground running. So instead of just saying, I worked as an intern at XYZ company,
Right.
talk about a specific project where you applied process engineering principles.
Okay.
Maybe you helped streamline a production line or identified a bottleneck that was slowing things down.
So it's about painting a picture with your words, bringing your experience to life, and making it relevant to this specific role.
Yes.
Now, I know interviewers love to dig deeper.
Yeah.
So what kind of follow-up questions should we be prepared for?
Oh, definitely. They might ask, what was the most challenging aspect of that project and how did you overcome it?
Okay.
They want to see how you handle obstacles and, more importantly, what you learned from those experiences.
So it's not just about having the experience. It's
Mhm.
about showing you can reflect on it, learn from it, and apply those lessons moving forward.
Exactly.
Okay, next question. How do you identify areas for process improvement?
Now, this one gets to the heart of what a process engineering technician does. You need to show them you have a keen eye for detail and that you can analyze processes to find those hidden opportunities for improvement. Think about the methodologies you might use, like lean manufacturing or Six Sigma.
Lean manufacturing and Six Sigma. To be honest, those terms sound a little intimidating. Can you break those down for us a bit?
Absolutely. Lean manufacturing is all about eliminating waste in a process. Think of it like decluttering your workspace,
Okay,
getting rid of anything that doesn't add value.
got it.
Six Sigma, on the other hand, is focused on reducing defects and improving quality.
Yeah.
It's about making processes as consistent and reliable as possible.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So in the interview, it would be helpful to not only mention these methodologies, but also give a real-world example of how you've applied them, right?
Exactly. You could talk about a time when you used lean manufacturing principles to streamline a process, eliminating unnecessary steps and reducing waste. Or you could share an example of how you used Six Sigma tools to identify the root cause of a defect and implement a solution to prevent it from happening again.
So it's not just about name-dropping buzzwords. It's about demonstrating that you understand these concepts and can actually apply them in a practical setting.
Yes.
I bet a common follow-up to this question could be, how did you measure the impact of your improvements?
You're absolutely right. They want to see that you understand the importance of data-driven results. So be ready to talk about the metrics you used.
Okay.
Maybe you tracked cycle times defect rates or customer satisfaction scores and explain how your changes led to measurable improvements.
Data is king, right? Hey, let's move on to a question that's all about making sure things are done by the book. How do you ensure that processes are compliant with industry regulations and standards?
This is where you demonstrate your knowledge of the industry and your commitment to maintaining those all-important standards. Before the interview, brush up on the specific regulations that are relevant to the role and the company you're applying for.
So if they're manufacturing medical devices, you need to know about FDA regulations, right?
Exactly. And be prepared to give a real-world example.
Okay.
Maybe you had to implement a change to meet a new regulation or spotted a potential compliance issue and took steps to correct it. Show them you're not just someone who follows the rules, you're someone who understands why those rules exist and actively works to uphold them.
It's about demonstrating that you're a responsible and detail-oriented individual. Now, for a potential follow-up, I could see them asking, what resources do you use to stay up to date on industry regulations?
Absolutely. That's a great way for them to assess your commitment to continuous learning. Mention any relevant publications you subscribe to, professional organizations you belong to, or online courses you've taken to stay informed.
It's all about showing them that you're proactive and dedicated to staying on top of your game. Okay, let's shift gears to a question that's all about your problem-solving skills. Can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a process issue?
Here's where you shine as a problem solver.
Oh.
Remember the STAR method? Situation, task, action, result. Set the scene. Describe the problem you faced. Outline the steps you took to troubleshoot it.
Okay.
And then highlight the solution you implemented.
I love that. It's like telling a mini detective story where you're the hero who swoops in and solves the mystery.
Exactly. And remember to focus on what you learned from that experience.
Got it.
Interviewers want to see that you can reflect, adapt, and apply those lessons to future challenges.
A potential follow-up question here could be, what did you learn from that experience that you can apply to this role?
You got it. It's a chance to connect your past experience to the specific requirements of the job you're interviewing for. Okay, let's keep this problem-solving momentum going with a question that's all about thinking ahead. How do you ensure that processes are scalable for future growth?
Okay, so it's not enough to just solve the problem in front of you. You need to think strategically about how your solutions will hold up as the company grows and evolves, right?
Exactly. This is where you demonstrate your foresight and ability to anticipate future needs. Think about a time when you designed or improved a process with scalability in mind. Maybe you considered factors like increased production volume, new product lines, or even the potential for automation.
So it's about showcasing your ability to think beyond the immediate task and consider the bigger picture.
Yes.
And I could see a potential follow-up question being, how would you adapt this process for a larger scale operation?
Right.
They want to test your flexibility and ability to think on your feet.
Now let's dive into a question that's all about juggling multiple priorities, which, let's face it, is a reality in any process engineering role. How do you prioritize and manage multiple process improvement projects?
Time management and organization. Two essential skills for any process engineering professional.
Absolutely. Here you want to showcase your ability to stay organized, focused, and efficient.
Okay.
The STAR method can come in handy again. Describe a situation where you had multiple projects on your plate. Explain how you determine the priority of each project and outline the steps you took to manage your time and resources effectively.
And be prepared for a follow-up. Like, how do you handle conflicting deadlines or priorities?
Absolutely.
Because let's be real, that happens all the time in the real world.
You want to demonstrate that you can remain calm under pressure, communicate effectively with stakeholders, and find solutions that work for everyone. Now let's move on to a topic that's becoming increasingly important in the manufacturing industry, sustainability.
Okay.
What about the question? How do you ensure that processes are sustainable and environmentally friendly?
I love this question. It shows that the company cares about more than just the bottom line. They're thinking about their impact on the environment.
Exactly. This is your opportunity to demonstrate your passion for sustainability and your understanding of its importance in manufacturing. Think about your experience with implementing sustainable practices, such as waste reduction, energy efficiency initiatives, or using environmentally friendly materials.
So it's not just about saying, I care about the environment.
Right.
It's about demonstrating your knowledge and experience in making processes more sustainable. And I could see a follow-up question like, what emerging sustainability trends are you most interested in? To really gauge your passion and knowledge in this area.
You nailed it. Now let's shift to another crucial aspect of process engineering safety.
Okay.
How would you answer the question? How do you ensure that processes are safe for employees?
Safety is paramount. So this is where you showcase your understanding of safety protocols and your commitment to creating a safe workplace for everyone.
Right. Highlight your knowledge of relevant safety regulations,
Oh,
any safety training you've had, and your experience with implementing safety improvements.
okay.
Maybe you identified a potential hazard and took steps to address it,
Uh-huh.
or proactively implemented a safety improvement that made a positive impact.
It's all about showing that you're not just following the rules. You're actively promoting a safety-conscious culture.
Yes.
A potential follow-up could be, how do you encourage a safety-conscious culture in the workplace?
Exactly. They want to see that you're a leader who inspires others to prioritize safety. Now let's talk about a question that's all about the bottom line. How do you ensure that processes are cost-effective?
All right, time to bring in those analytical skills and financial awareness.
Exactly. This is where you demonstrate your ability to think critically about costs and identify opportunities for improvement.
Okay.
Be ready to share a specific example where you identified a cost-saving opportunity within a process.
Right.
Maybe you streamlined a workflow, reduced material waste, or found a way to optimize energy consumption.
It's all about showcasing your ability to find creative solutions that benefit both the company's bottom line and the environment.
Yes.
A potential follow-up here could be, what metrics do you track to measure cost effectiveness?
Absolutely. They want to see that you understand how to quantify your successes and demonstrate the value you bring. Be prepared to discuss metrics like cost per unit production efficiency or return on investment. Now, let's take a little break from these interview questions and talk about something that can really give you an edge in your preparation, RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools.
Yes, this is something I'm personally really excited about. RoleCatcher isn't just about giving you information, it's about using AI to personalize your approach.
Exactly. Imagine being able to tailor your CV or resume and practice your interview answers with feedback specific to the exact job you're applying for.
Oh, wow.
That's the power of RoleCatcher's AI.
It's like having a personal career coach in your pocket guiding you every step of the way. And speaking of career guidance, let's tap into some insights from RoleCatcher's Career Guide. Process Engineering Technician.
Great idea. This guide offers a wealth of information, but one thing that really stands out is the section on career stages.
Okay.
It paints a clear picture of how you can progress in this field from entry-level to senior positions.
So it's not just about landing the first job, it's about understanding the potential career path ahead.
Exactly.
That's really helpful for someone who's just starting out or even someone who's looking to take their career to the next level.
And the guide also provides some really valuable insights into the types of certifications and professional development opportunities that can help you advance your career.
Oh, very cool.
Things like Six Sigma and lean manufacturing certifications, which we touched on earlier,
Yeah.
can really boost your credentials.
So it's all about continuous learning and staying ahead of the curve in a field that's constantly evolving.
Absolutely.
All right, let's jump back into those interview questions. We've got a few more to cover.
Sounds good. Let's move on to a question that focuses on your ability to think strategically. How do you ensure that processes are designed for continuous improvement?
So it's not just about fixing problems as they arise. It's about building a culture of continuous improvement, right?
Exactly. This is where you demonstrate your understanding of the importance of ongoing optimization and your ability to design processes that are adaptable and scalable.
I could see a potential follow-up question being, what specific tools or methodologies do you use to facilitate continuous improvement?
You're right. This is a chance to showcase your knowledge of tools like Kaizen PDCA, or even something as simple as regular feedback loops with team members. Now let's talk about another essential aspect of process engineering.
Okay.
How do you balance the need for efficiency with the importance of quality?
The classic efficiency versus quality dilemma. I imagine there's a sweet spot where you can maximize both.
Absolutely. Here you want to show the interviewer that you understand that efficiency and quality are not mutually exclusive.
Okay.
You could talk about a time when you implemented a process improvement that both increased efficiency and improved quality.
I love that. It's about showcasing your ability to think holistically and find solutions that benefit everyone. And a potential follow-up question could be, can you give me an example of a time when you had to make a trade-off between efficiency and quality? How did you approach that decision?
That's a great one. It shows that you understand that sometimes tough choices need to be made, and you're able to weigh the pros and cons and make an informed decision.
All right, let's tackle another question that can be a bit challenging. How do you handle conflict within a team?
Teamwork is crucial in process engineering, so this is where you demonstrate your ability to navigate those inevitable interpersonal challenges that arise. Share an example of a time when you had to resolve a conflict with a coworker.
Okay.
Focus on your communication skills, your ability to listen and understand different perspectives, and your approach to finding a solution that worked for everyone involved.
I could see a follow-up question being, what is your preferred conflict resolution style?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
It shows that you've given some thought to how you approach conflict and you have strategies for resolving it effectively. Now let's talk about another question that's all about your ability to think outside the box. Tell me about a time when you had to come up with a creative solution to a problem.
All right, time to showcase those innovative problem-solving skills.
Exactly. Choose an example that demonstrates your ability to think creatively, challenge assumptions, and find unconventional solutions. Maybe you had to work with limited resources or overcome a seemingly insurmountable obstacle.
I bet a potential follow-up could be, what steps did you take to generate ideas and come up with that solution?
You're right. They want to see that you have a process for brainstorming and problem solving, not just random flashes of brilliance. Now, before we wrap up this section on interview questions, let's revisit how RoleCatcher's AI can be your secret weapon in your prep.
Yes, we talked about how its AI can personalize your CV and practice answers. But can you give us another example of how its AI can step in to help you?
Absolutely. One of the most powerful features is the AI-powered feedback on your practice answers. It can analyze your responses and give specific suggestions.
Oh, cool.
Like identifying areas where you might be rambling, where you need to add more detail, or even where you could be more concise.
So it's like having a virtual interview coach giving you personalized feedback to help you refine your answers.
Right?
That's amazing. And it takes away some of that anxiety of not knowing what the interviewer is looking for.
Now let's touch on another insight from the career guide. Process engineering technician that can help you stand out in your interview, the importance of networking.
Networking, I hear that word all the time.
Yeah.
But what does it actually mean in the context of process engineering?
It's all about building relationships with other professionals in your field, joining professional organizations, attending industry events, even connecting with people on LinkedIn. These are all great ways to build your network.
So in the interview, you could mention your involvement in these organizations, even if it's just following industry leaders on social media.
Exactly. It shows that you're actively engaged in the field and interested in connecting with others.
Okay.
And who knows, those connections could even lead to job opportunities down the line. All right, let's get back to those interview questions. We've got a few more to cover.
Sounds good.
Welcome back. We're ready to dive into part 2 of our process engineering technician interview prep.
I'm excited to keep uncovering these valuable nuggets of information. Where should we start?
Let's jump right back into those interview questions. This time, we'll focus on a question that often comes up when discussing teamwork. Tell me about a time you had to work as part of a team.
Teamwork is essential in any role, but especially in process engineering, where you're constantly collaborating with others to solve problems and optimize process.
Absolutely. This question is your opportunity to highlight those collaboration skills and show the interviewer that you can contribute effectively to a team environment.
So how do we approach this question in a way that really stands out?
Think about a specific example where you played a key role in a team project. Maybe it was a process improvement initiative, a new product launch, or even troubleshooting a complex issue. Clearly outline your contributions, but don't just say, I worked well with others. Give specific examples of how you communicated effectively, how you handled any disagreements that arose, and how your efforts contributed to the team's success.
I love that. It's all about painting a picture with your words, showing the interviewer that you are an active and engaged member of the team. And I bet a common follow-up question could be, what role do you typically play in a team setting?
You're right. They might ask if you're a leader, a follower, a mediator, or perhaps a combination of roles. Be prepared to discuss your preferred team dynamic and how you adapt your approach based on the specific needs of the team.
It's all about showing that you're flexible and adaptable, that you can contribute effectively in various team settings. Okay, let's move on to another challenging question. Tell me about a time you failed.
Now, this question might feel a bit like a trap, but it's actually a great opportunity to demonstrate your resilience and your ability to learn from your mistakes.
Because let's face it, everyone makes mistakes. It's how we handle those setbacks that truly defines us.
Exactly. Choose an example where you faced a challenge or made a mistake, but don't dwell on the negative. Focus on what you learned from the experience, the steps you took to correct the situation, and how you applied those lessons to future situations.
It's all about showing the interviewer that you're not afraid of making mistakes and that you're committed to continuous improvement.
I imagine a potential follow-up question could be, what specific steps did you take to prevent that mistake from happening again?
Absolutely. They want to see that you're proactive and that you can turn a negative experience into a positive learning opportunity.
Hmm.
Okay, let's tackle another common behavioral interview question. Tell me about a time you had to solve a difficult problem.
Ah, the problem-solving question. This is where we showcase those analytical skills and our ability to think critically under pressure.
Exactly. Remember the STAR method?
Use it to structure your response. Set the scene, describe the problem, outline the steps you took to solve it, and highlight the positive outcome. And don't be afraid to get specific.
Okay.
Talk about the tools you used, the data you analyzed, and the challenges you overcame along the way.
It's all about bringing the story to life and showing the interviewer that you're a skilled problem solver. A potential follow-up question could be, what were some of the alternative solutions you considered, and why did you choose the one you did?
That's a great one. It shows that you explored multiple options and carefully weighed the pros and cons before making a decision. Now, before we move on to more interview questions, I want to touch on something we mentioned earlier, RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools.
Yes, RoleCatcher has been a recurring theme throughout this deep dive, and for good reason. Its AI features can be incredibly helpful in preparing for these interviews.
Absolutely. One thing we haven't discussed yet is how RoleCatcher's AI can help you identify your transferable skills.
Transferable skills.
Yeah.
What are those exactly?
Transferable skills are those valuable skills you've developed in previous roles or experiences that can be applied to a variety of jobs, even if they're in different industries.
Oh, okay.
Think about skills like communication, problem solving, teamwork, time management. These are all skills that are highly sought after in any field, including process engineering.
So how can RoleCatcher's AI help us identify these skills?
It can analyze your resume and your past work experiences and highlight the skills you've developed that are relevant to the process engineering technician role. Then you can weave those skills into your interview answers, showing the interviewer that you have a strong foundation of transferable skills that will make you successful in this new role.
That's fantastic. It's like having a personal skills assessment right at your fingertips. And speaking of career guidance, let's revisit RoleCatcher's Career Guide, Process Engineering Technician, for another insightful tip.
Sounds good. One thing that really stood out to me in the guide was the section on professional certifications. It highlights the value of pursuing certifications like Six Sigma and Lean Manufacturing, which can boost your credibility and make you a more competitive candidate.
So it's not just about having the right skills and experience. It's also about having those industry-recognized certifications that demonstrate your commitment to professional development.
Exactly. And pursuing these certifications can not only enhance your job prospects, but also open doors to new opportunities and career advancement.
All right, let's jump back into those interview questions. This time we'll focus on a question that often comes up towards the end of an interview. Do you have any questions for me?
Now, this isn't just a formality. It's a valuable opportunity to show the interviewer that you're engaged, curious, and genuinely interested in the role and the company.
So it's not just about asking questions for the sake of asking questions. We need to ask thoughtful questions that demonstrate our knowledge and enthusiasm.
Exactly. Before the interview, do your research on the company and prepare a list of questions that are specific to the role, the team, or the company culture.
Some good examples might be, what are the biggest challenges facing the team right now? Or what opportunities for professional development are available within the company?
Those are great examples. And don't be afraid to ask about the interviewer's own experience with the company. It shows that you're interested in their perspective.
Okay, let's move on to a question that might seem a bit intimidating, but is actually a great opportunity to showcase your value. Why should we hire you?
This is your chance to make a strong closing argument and reiterate why you're the ideal candidate for the job. Don't just repeat what's on your resume. Connect your skills, experience, and personality to the specific needs of the role in the company.
So it's about tailoring our response to the specific job requirements and showing the interviewer how our unique skills and experiences align with their needs.
Exactly. Highlight your key strengths, your enthusiasm for the company, and your confidence in your ability to make a positive contribution.
And don't forget to express our passion for the field of process engineering.
Absolutely. Let your enthusiasm shine through.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground on those interview questions. Before we wrap up this second part of our deep dive, let's touch on something that's particularly important for those who might be new to the interview process: the importance of practicing your answers.
Practice makes perfect, right?
Exactly. The more you practice, the more confident and comfortable you'll feel during the interview. And luckily, RoleCatcher has a fantastic tool that can help with that.
You're talking about the AI-powered interview practice feature, right?
Exactly. It's like having a mock interview, but with the added benefit of AI guidance. You can practice answering common interview questions, and the AI will provide feedback on your responses, suggesting areas for improvement, highlighting keywords, and even analyzing your tone and delivery.
It's an incredible tool that can really help you refine your answers and boost your confidence. And speaking of confidence, let's tap into RoleCatcher's Career Guide, Process Engineering Technician, for one final tip before we wrap up this part.
Sounds good.
Hi.
What does the guide have to say about confidence?
The guide emphasizes the importance of projecting confidence during the interview. It highlights the fact that interviewers are not only assessing your skills and experience, but also your demeanor and how you present yourself.
So it's not just about what you say, it's also about how you say it.
Exactly. Maintain eye contact, speak clearly and concisely, and project an air of confidence and enthusiasm. Remember, you've made it this far in the hiring process. They see something in you. Now let's take a quick break before we dive into the final part of our deep dive.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more insightful tips and strategies to help you ace that process engineering technician interview. All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into acing that process engineering technician interview.
We've covered a lot of ground, from common interview questions to insightful career tips. Are you ready for more?
Absolutely. I'm eager to hear what other gems we can uncover. What do you have for us?
Let's kick things off with a question that can sometimes throw people off balance. What are your salary expectations?
The dreaded salary question. I always get a little nervous when this one comes up.
It's understandable, but with a little preparation, you can approach this question with confidence. The key is to do your research beforehand. Look at industry benchmarks and salary ranges for similar roles in your geographic location.
Websites like Glassdoor and Salary.com can be really helpful for that.
Right? Exactly. And don't forget to factor in your own experience and qualifications when determining your range.
So it's not just about what the market is paying, it's also about knowing your worth and what you bring to the table.
Absolutely. It's also a good idea to have a clear and concise way to articulate your salary expectations. Instead of just throwing out a number, you could say something like, based on my experience and the current market rate for this position, I'm seeking a salary in the range of.
That sounds much more professional. It shows that you've done your homework.
Right. Now let's tackle a question that can be a bit tricky. What are your weaknesses?
Ugh, the dreaded weakness question. It feels like a trap.
It can feel that way, but it's really an opportunity to showcase your self-awareness and your commitment to growth. The key is to choose a weakness that's actually a strength in disguise, or a weakness that you're actively working to improve.
Can you give an example of a weakness that's a strength in disguise?
Sure. Let's say you tend to be a perfectionist. You could frame that as a weakness by saying something like, sometimes I can be too focused on getting every detail perfect, which can occasionally slow me down.
But then you immediately spin it into a positive by adding, however, I'm working on delegating tasks more effectively and focusing on the bigger picture.
Exactly. It shows that you're self-aware, you're striving to improve, and you're turning your weaknesses into strengths.
I love that approach. It's all about framing things in a positive light while still being honest and authentic.
Absolutely. Now let's move on to a question that's all about your motivation and career goals. Why are you interested in this position?
This is our chance to really sell ourselves and our passion for the role, right?
Exactly. It's not just about repeating what's on your resume. It's about connecting your skills and experiences to the specific responsibilities and challenges of the position.
So we should do our research on the company and highlight the specific aspects of the role that excite us.
Absolutely. And don't forget to mention how your values align with the company's values. It shows that you've done your homework and you're not just looking for any job, you're looking for the right job.
It's all about finding that perfect fit. Now let's tackle a question that's designed to assess your teamwork skills. Tell me about a time you had to work as part of a team.
Teamwork is crucial in process engineering, so this is your opportunity to highlight your collaboration and communication skills. Choose a specific example where you played a key role in a team project and clearly outline your contributions.
It's not enough to just say, I'm a team player. We need to give specific examples of how we've worked effectively in teams in the past.
Exactly. Describe how you communicated, effectively resolved conflicts, and contributed to the team's success. Be prepared to discuss the challenges you faced and how you overcame them as a team.
It's all about showcasing those teamwork skills in action. Now let's shift gears to a question that's designed to assess your problem-solving skills. Tell me about a time you had to solve a difficult problem.
This is another classic behavioral interview question where the STAR method can be your best friend.
So set the scene, describe the problem, outline the steps you took to solve it, and highlight the positive outcome.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to get specific here. Talk about the resources you used, the challenges you overcame, and the impact your solution had.
It's all about bringing that problem-solving experience to life. Now, before we wrap up this section on interview questions, I want to touch on something we discussed earlier, RoleCatcher's AI-powered interview practice feature.
It's an incredible tool that can really help boost your confidence and refine your answers.
Exactly. I know I found it super helpful in my own interview prep. Can you remind us how it works?
Of course, RoleCatcher's AI can analyze your practice answers and provide you with personalized feedback. It can identify areas where you might be rambling, suggest where you need to provide more detail, and even point out where you could be more concise. It's like having a virtual interview coach right there with you.
I love that. It takes away some of the guesswork and helps us tailor our answers to the specific expectations of the interviewer. Now let's tap into RoleCatcher's Career Guide. Process engineering technician for one final piece of advice before we wrap up this deep dive.
One of the things that really stood out to me in the guide was the emphasis on continuous learning. It highlights the importance of staying updated on the latest industry trends, pursuing certifications, and taking advantage of professional development opportunities.
So it's not just about what we know now, it's about our willingness to learn, grow, and adapt as the field evolves.
Exactly. The world of process engineering is constantly changing, with new technologies and methodologies emerging all the time. By demonstrating our commitment to lifelong learning, we can show potential employers that we're adaptable, forward-thinking, and eager to embrace new challenges.
That's such a valuable takeaway. All right. I think we've covered a lot of ground in this three-part deep dive into the world of process engineering technician interviews. We've explored common interview questions, uncovered insightful career tips, and even tapped into the power of RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools to give us that extra edge.
I hope our listeners feel empowered and prepared to tackle those interviews with confidence. Remember, the world of process engineering is full of exciting opportunities. Go out there and seize them.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive. We hope you found it helpful and insightful. Good luck with those interviews, and remember, you've got this.